Hey, welcome to Taking It Down, the TV and streaming podcast for the Alabama Take website. Go there, find more, enjoy yourself. When it comes to TV, there's just too many options, too much to stream. Our podcast is designed to help you figure out what to watch, where to watch it, and in the first half of every episode of our podcast, we have discussions without spoilers, and then the value you can get in the back half where we do spoil things is where we talk about the exact same shows. You can compare thoughts, gain insight, figure out if you agree with us or not, because we will be spoiling after the break. On this episode, in case you pay no mind to the show notes, we're discussing the second episode of the HBO series DTF St. Louis and the first of the HBO series Rooster. It made its debut last week. We record 1 week behind most of these episodes, but let's get the podcast going and a little bit of Oscar talk at the very, very end of the episode because we don't know who's going to win, but we do talk about a few things with not that many predictions because we record on Sunday. But let me get Adam in. There's no Donovan today, just me and Adam, but we'll get the show going. Thanks for joining us.
Alabama Take projection.
Okay, here we are. Only Adam this week is Donovan's off sailing or maybe kicked out of local establishments.
Sorry to disappoint. I'm sure it's a tale.
We'll find out next week probably. It's only the original two. Adam and I are here, and we're non-spoilers. So if you want to start off with us, you are in safe territory until the break. We're going to go with DTF St. Louis first. Does that sound good?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do DTF St. Louis first. A bit of odd suburbia from HBO. Clark Forrest, famed morning weatherman, who looks a lot like Jason Bateman. He quickly befriends Floyd Smurnich. I never tire of saying that name.
I don't either. And every time it's on screen, and in some tough spots too. I'm still just kind of snickering about what a great name.
It is. That's a brilliant piece of writing. Floyd Smurnich is Clark Forrest, weatherman for St. Louis, and they become friends at work. Floyd does sign language, and that's how they work together at times. Floyd, of course, played by I think David Harbour's really good in this.
I agree. I think obviously we're not going to get into specifics on episode 2, but yeah, a chance for him to shine.
Yes. He's very, if he's supposed to be playing likable and pitiful, at the same time, he's nailing it.
Which he's kind of made a career out of in a lot of ways.
You think so? Because in Stranger Things, he seemed like I'm the tough guy who's a little pitiful every now and then.
I think maybe I'm thinking about the adopted parent kind of thing. You know, where he's like struggling through, how do I relate to this teenager who's doing teenagery things?
Right.
And not always doing it well, though obviously he's just so full of heart in Stranger Things that he ends up succeeding, whereas here he may be a little too aloof.
Here he's more sad-eyed.
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely more pathetic.
How'd the second episode treat you overall?
I still don't know how I feel about this show.
You sound like the critics. They were writing out of 5 out of 8 episodes and didn't know.
And I think I agree with them because there's moments of like I'm intrigued and it's making me laugh, even though this isn't really what you'd think of as a conventionally comedic moment. And there's just a strangeness to it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not really proceeding like a crime investigation show. I mean, there is that element, obviously, but even the way that they speak to each other is kind of stilted in this weird...
Yeah.
Everything's just 1 degree off, you know? And like, I really enjoy that, and the 3 leads are fantastic, yet I'm still not taken with the show. I think I saw Vulture gave it like 3 out of 5 stars this episode.
Yep.
And I think I would have to agree with that.
That's about right. I would agree too. I found the first episode really captivating, and I couldn't believe how good I thought it was. And then this one sort of brought it back down to life. I still thought it was pretty good. There is I can't think of a better way to put this, but there's a very light slime over the whole show. The thin layer of just ickiness.
Yeah.
to the entire proceedings.
Yeah.
And
I actually thought, that the people, everybody in the show, the remote in their house is like sticky. You know what I mean?
that's a good analogy.
So I had that thought. So it's funny that you put,
that is so true.
what you just said, that thin layer of, what'd you say, ickiness?
Ickiness, and everyone except for maybe Floyd seems as though something's amiss.
Yeah.
I do enjoy it. This is definitely for folks who love a murder mystery with high class acting. I watched the first episode of Scarpettta on Amazon Prime. I haven't watched an Amazon Prime show in a long time. They really tack on the ads these days. I did not know this. Scarpettta stars Nicole Kidman as probably a city or state doctor who does the autopsies of murders. It's based off Patricia Cromwell novels. I mean, this is just airport novels turned into TV shows. But I did watch the first episode because it was recommended as a weekend thing to do from Vulture, speaking of. And I compared the two. They're both murder mystery things. DTF St. Louis is a higher level than Scarpettta. It's not that Nicole Kidman isn't great. Scarpetta's got Nicole Kidman, Jamie Lee Curtis, Bobby Cannavale.
What else has he been in?
You don't know Bobby Cannavale?
I'm not sure.
Well, he was in Boardwalk Empire for I think his first major role. He was also in one of Netflix's show by Ryan Murphy that turned out to be a dud, but started great. He's good. He's easy to watch. But you compare that to DTF St. Louis, Scarpetta's, and even though they got both ranks of actors, something else about DTF St. Louis is going on. It's just, it feels as though there's an undercurrent we haven't discovered, I guess.
Yeah, I think obviously we'll get into it in spoilers, but episode 2 started doing more with storytelling. I'm trying not to spoil. I mean, I don't know that saying that they're unreliable narrators in a murder investigation show is really tipping the hand too much, but the way that it kind of doubled back on itself, on its narrative from the first one, I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, I did too.
I think my criticism may be, and I can't put my finger on it, it feels like a long 50 whatever minutes. Some shows just kind of breeze by. This one, I don't know if it's that feeling, that vibe that you talked about, the kind of, you feel the seconds a little bit more when you're in that layer of ickiness, but I don't know.
You get the...
Yeah.
Yeah. Richard Jenkins shining here. Linda Cardinelli shining here, I thought. Richard Jenkins plays the detective. He's sort of paired with this actress, Joy Sunday. She's Officer Plum. And she stares a lot at Richard Jenkins' Homer. As if to say, seriously? But she never takes that step. I don't know if it's because she feels as though that wouldn't be her place, or that would not be the thing to do in a professional environment.
Both actors there, Joy Sunday and Richard Jenkins, did well with the scenes that they had. Obviously, it's almost impossible to talk about without going into spoilers, but you noted last week that he kind of took on a paternalistic, maybe dismissive kind of tone with her, and that kind of gets chopped out from underneath him a bit this week.
Yeah.
And I think she's maybe shown to be she's super confident, but doesn't do, like you're saying, doesn't always overstep, but seems pretty adept at her job.
Yes. She plays it well. Plays this intelligent, competent detective, officer, who knows exactly what to say, when to say it, and how to say it without being mean or rude, but yet have this
forceful.
Yeah. I think it's high quality. I still think it's well shot, greatly acted, interesting, pretty well written as far as how it's laid out. I could see the storyboard in the writer's room and think, wow, that's kind of interesting. And again, I'm going to compare it to Scarpettta without spoiling either. The storyboard for that one, I think to myself, what are you doing? Of course, those are based off novels. So maybe they're just kind of using the novels as an outline. Not sure. But anyway, before those spoilers, we do have another HBO series. And it's also another Bill Lawrence show with Steve Carell.
Where does he find the time?
That's a good question. Steve Carell's the titular Rooster, in a way. Lawrence has to be slammed. Let's see, right now he's filming Ted Lasso. Scrubs is airing its reboot. So I guess he's kind of done with it. Shrinking is trucking along on Apple, so I suppose they're finished and wrapped. But now Rooster.
A lot of irons in the fire.
But is this Bill Lawrence's first coveted Sunday HBO slot?
I think so.
Kind of the pinnacle?
That's an interesting question. Is it the pinnacle for a guy who was very successful on, Scrubs was like a big show?
I think HBO Sunday Night would have been a pinnacle about 15 years ago. And
we're kind of running into what the show talks about, though, right? Like a beach read versus the prestige of a liberal arts college.
Yeah, that's so true. Just in general, in case you're thinking about watching it and you want to hear the non-spoilers, Steve Carell plays an author who's written a series of books with this character, Rooster. And that's the title of the show as well. He's brought in to do a reading at a university, and he's basically kind of brushing it off, thinking, this is a beach read. Nobody should be doing a reading for this kind of book, but thank you. Here I am. And he seems to be taking it in with some enjoyment, and we find out that he's also there probably because his daughter teaches a professor slot there at the university. I suppose it's a pilot or a premiere. It's probably a premiere. I don't think it's necessarily a pilot if you want to get into the jargon of it all. As a premiere, were you in?
Oh, 1,000%.
Me too, even though I've seen this 1,000 times. So I want to get into, why I am so invested, yet I know exactly what this is.
I think it's a very cozy atmosphere.
You talk about coziness. You were the first person I thought of. I thought, my God, what I wouldn't pay to be on that campus in that moment.
You thought of me?
I thought of you, and I thought that I would want to be there because of the setting. It looked like a New England campus that was perfectly fall.
Yeah. And somehow is for 6 months a year or something.
Yeah.
It always seems to be. I was doing some reading about the show, and they filmed in Los Angeles, and so all of
they did.
Them wearing the coats or whatever, they shot it in summer, and so all of these extras are dressed like it's autumn, but it was 100 degrees during shooting. Despite knowing kind of what's going to happen to a point, that vibe, that campus novel feel, campus film, I think we both love those. Steve Carell is just so incredibly watchable and funny and charming. It's possible that Steve Carell is underrated. Despite being on TV, sometimes 2 channels at a time with Office reruns almost every day of the week.
Well, he can do it all. And he has shown that.
Right. He's funnier. He's better at drama. He's more, I'll use the word charming again, than you remember him being every time he's in something new.
Yeah. If you watch this show and you're as familiar with The Office as you probably are, and then you've also watched The Patient on FX, you get it.
Well, I couldn't help but think of his character in Little Miss Sunshine with
wow.
Who was an academic.
I forgot about that role.
Fantastic role. Fantastic movie.
The one that he did for Netflix, Space Force or something like that, didn't work out, I don't think. From my understanding, it just wasn't that good. But I doubt it had anything to do with Steve Carell. Maybe I need, in Rooster, maybe I need a little bit more Carell doing pretty awkward Carell things. He's a simmered down Michael Scott here. He's a very low level Michael Scott.
He's way too emotionally aware.
Yeah.
I think
that's it
in this role for that comparison. I think it did a thing, Natalie, when we finished, she loved it immediately. She was hooked.
Oh, good.
And said, this show has people saying things out loud that you always think, why wouldn't you just like articulate how you're feeling? When you're watching a show, sometimes you watch Larry David and you're like,
yeah, stop articulating.
Right. But then you lose the second and third act of every episode of Curb if you do that. So, but here it's like, oh, these are people behaving in very familiar ways.
Very true. Very true. I think the connection I'm making with Michael Scott is obviously at Steve Carell, but he had me laughing in his reactions, his facial expressions, I was like, oh, we're back to that. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It's not redundant. It's funny.
Right. And his character has to be in a situation where there are new things. Obviously in The Office, he's in his domain, but like all new information, it was like telling a child, and him kind of bumbling his way through campus. I think maybe that's what you're talking about.
It is. Yeah. And then, we'll get into specifics and spoilers, of course, but he, as Greg Russo, this writer, he's a very normal dad, it seems. And then he does normal, dumb dad things for his age level. But he also, like you said, it's a perfect term, is self-aware to where his facial expressions will tell you that, but also make you chuckle. And I think it's working. I've seen some semi-negative reviews. I've seen some great reviews. So this could be, it's only a 30-minute show. I don't think it's going to be a waste of time. If it goes south, I think Carell's going to carry it nonetheless.
I think the atmosphere alone could probably, for us, go a long way.
I can see the critique that we've seen this kind of thing before. It's another white male having a mid-age crisis, sort of. So we got Greg Russo, Steve Carell. I had read where Bill Lawrence, you probably read this, got the idea for Carell's character after working on the adaptation of Carl Hyacint's Bad Monkey for Apple TV, which Donovan and I loved. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. So apparently Bad Monkey's like a semi-beach read, and they turned it into a very entertaining Apple TV show with Vince Vaughn. Russo's churning out these action books for guys, and then he has to face that in a way in this very elite, maybe elite New England campus, upper level-ish, perhaps. You know what? That could be my only gripe. This would have worked so well as an autumn series.
Or one of those shows for like June or July when it's 1,000,000,000 degrees outside and you're wishing for that.
You know it's coming.
Yeah.
Also in the episode is none other than the actor who plays Jamie Tart, Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Surprise role for me.
Phil Dunster.
He's a what?
Phil Dunster is his name.
Phil Dunster. Is that really?
Yeah.
On the series?
No, Archie is his name in the series, but you're talking about
Phil Dunster.
That's the actor.
Not what I thought his name was.
Yeah. Archie is his character.
His name doesn't fit
Dunster.
Who he looks like.
You don't think a man that handsome would have the last name Dunster?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's it. Speaking of handsome men, John C. McGinley as the dean. I think he plays a dean type character.
President.
Okay.
He's calling the shots and is aggressively shirtless.
Lawrence is dipping into all his wells here, mixing the waters all around. He's got his Ted Lasso actors. He's got his Scrubs actor. He's got the new Steve Carell. I don't think he's worked with him.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I was going to get your input there. Here is I was joking about my only gripe. I think I wouldn't call it a red flag. My only flag so far is there is a reoccurring campus police officer who is an amazing comedian. And there's just no way you can't write something for him that won't have you gut busting with laughter. So it's Rory Scovel is the cop. And he's also does really good stand-up stuff. So I can't wait to see if they give him something, maybe even a storyline that would be funny. So
your Chekhov's gun in this series is
Rory Scovel.
He's too funny to not do funny things.
He's too funny just to be a very plain spoken campus cop. The fact that he's a campus cop is kind of funny, though.
Yeah.
Campus cops, that's a role you don't see much and you can kind of do something with. But yeah, good style, good pace. I thought that might be a story that's hinted at in this first episode, and we kind of hinted at it here. You know, if you've watched it, you know. I think there's a broad audience for it. I think there's a possibility for it to be good. So we'll talk about these things in spoilers. We'll talk about the specifics, and if you've seen and want to know more or check what you think with what we think, perfect opportunity to do so in about 30 seconds. Our fundraiser is over for the Alabama Take, but that doesn't mean you can't help us out when you wish. We still have the website Buy Me a Coffee, which is a donation site that you could use to donate to the Alabama Take. If you would just rather donate every now and then, it's a perfect opportunity to do that. If you'd like something Alabama Take related from our online store, we do get a very small portion from what you order. Plus, you wear it, you look good, you help out the site a lot with recognition out in the public, and we appreciate that. For anyone who donated to the fundraiser, thank you again. And lastly, don't forget that the Alabama Take has plenty of writings and 2 new podcasts which are going, one of which is called Punk, Love, and Compassion, hosted by Bo Wolf, and he describes it as radical voices, telling stories of resilience and hope. It's a great podcast. And Bo also does a new one with his son, where they examine the mythical, the cryptid, the fairy, the paranormal, the alien. It's an excellent one if you enjoy the mysterious and strange. It's called Hidden Creatures. You can find both of those in any podcast app or on the alabamatake.com. Okay, we're back. Thank you. We'll do it same order. Actually, I'm going to sneak one in on you. We're in spoiler section. If you're here for DTF St. Louis in the first episode of Rooster, you're in the right spot. We both watched Shrinking, speaking of Bill Lawrence. We were talking a little before we hit record. This week's episode of Shrinking, kind of right down the middle. Would you agree? You felt like it was a decent episode, kind of your normal, maybe back on track kind of episode for them?
Yeah, I think it was, if you're saying it's down the middle, it was maybe more in line with what we expected out of like a season 1 than the first bit of season 3. You know, we said last week, sometimes on TV, you want your friends to have heart attacks because it makes for good drama and story development. But this, you know, not as dramatic, but I still think it was a fine episode.
I do too. We're actually not spoiling very much at all here, but we kind of saw the ending coming. Gabby gets a phone call. We suspected as much last week. It's a heavy one. This episode's had a couple heavy moments. It revolved around Jimmy's deceased wife's birthday. Mm-hmm. And Lewis came back. I thought
that would make you happy.
I didn't see it coming.
Lewis with a beard, too.
Lewis with a beard. He's much hotter, Lewis with a beard.
Apparently so.
So says Brian. Yeah. Yes, you're right. When I do say right down the middle, I mean not great, pretty good for the series, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that showed them, since the show is kind of about their growth, their development, whatever stage of life they're at, and they're just about check every box on that. Folks having to face tough things and move through it with community, right?
It did have one of the funniest lines I think it may have had this season.
Which was?
I probably say that every week, so forgive me, listeners. Well, Lewis was back, and he says, "Hey, I'm seeing someone," and Jimmy just, without thinking, says, "Wouldn't it be funny if I killed her?" And I thought, that's pretty good. That's how you use Jason Segel.
Yeah. I don't know that he can play the piano softly without me thinking and forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yeah, that's hard.
That was tough. But I liked that he invited the car girl, right? What's her name?
I want to say Sarah, but that's not correct.
The woman that he's clearly been putting off, asking out, comes to crash essentially the dead wife's birthday party, right?
Yeah, she comes by invite.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, no complaints here. They've certainly come, a ways since episode 1 of this 3rd season, where I was thinking this show may need to end. Now I'm thinking, no, it's okay. It's fine. It's probably okay now. Let's head back to our fictional suburb of Twyla, where much of the action of DTF St. Louis plays out. That and the police station this week.
Did you like it when Twyla was used as kind of weaponized a little bit against Officer Plum, Detective Plum?
Yeah, he calls her that, right? Like, your small town, you're
right. I don't know how it works in Twyla or whatever he says, but it was.
But doesn't he
very
even call her that? Like, hey, Twyla.
Oh yeah, he does. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, he's definitely kind of a dick.
Homer. You're talking about Richard Jenkins.
Yeah.
He's a dick, and it plays well when he's questioning his suspects, but it makes him way more of a dick with Joy Sunday's character, Officer Plum.
Yeah. He also gets these kind of, like, why is he being empathetic for the murder suspect, just trying to, or
Victim?
victim. Oh, how did I just blank on the word victim?
No, I do things like this all the time.
Yeah, he
On
has some
Floyd.
sympathy for Floyd, just trying to live his life.
So do
you know?
I. Don't we all?
Of course, but it was just unexpected from him, who kind of puts on this gruff. You know, they even have to explain what hooking up is, right?
He's so old school that he needs way too many things defined for him. What's a hookup app? Why wouldn't a man bring a little porn to get to get ready for a meetup and things
Analog porn.
Analog porn, pieces of paper. Yeah, he thinks that's perfectly normal. And whereas Officer Plum says, no, you wouldn't do that. You'd have your phone.
Well, and he also, I thought it was hilarious that he just fully grabbed with both hands the Indiana Jones porn vocabulary word. He just, you know how many times he said Indiana Jones in this episode?
It was a lot.
That's kind of what I was talking about in non-spoilers, like the weird, stilted kind of way that they talk to each other.
Yeah, kind of a vibe.
I think it's supposed to feel, obviously we're dealing with unreliable narrators who are telling a story and probably inventing their own dialogue for it, right? So like you have the writers of the show writing within writing, you know what I mean? So it's supposed to feel a little plastic, a little strange. But then even like when the detectives are talking, and I think that's when we're to think that we're in reality, you know, the show's reality, that they still communicate in an odd way at times. Everything about the show is just a little off.
Well, it's the generation gap between Homer and Plum.
Well, there's that, but even the way that they communicate with other people around their department, or people talk to each other, I don't know. Everything is just a little unnatural.
But is this a Netflix show on HBO?
No, I think it's because it's doing a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't know that I'm not giving it 4 out of 5 stars. You know, I'm not saying it's affecting quality, but I do think it's trying to dig a little deeper. Everything that I just said about everything being a degree off, I don't think Netflix at this point in time goes to the effort of doing things like that.
They don't gamble.
Right.
This one may boil down to narration. You're right. Who's answering the questions, honestly? Point of view are we to trust? The opening sequences have Bateman's Clark Forrest's version. It seems as though he's being honest because they have so much evidence that he can't deny certain things. And then you have Linda Cardinelli's version, which is different enough to where she could have some guilt.
Yeah, she came across as fairly menacing in this episode and played it really, really well.
Very well. Carol Smurnich. They make each other's dreams come true. That's as euphemistic as it could possibly get, as he's explaining to Homer.
You know, I can't remember whose memory we were in when she's watching Floyd, beautifully done by David Harbour, on stage, dancing, doing the signing for the band. And she's there, and she goes to hold Jason Bateman's hand because they're alone in this crowd, and they have this kind of like moment in public, you know, where they can do this and get away with it. And then her eyes, the way that she was able to slowly fill her eyes with tears, you know, and say what she says about, that's the guy I want to be old with.
But she's holding Clark's hand.
But then let's go. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good bit of acting.
Yeah, again, assuming Clark's version is the true version, then they had a moment at the St. Louis Cardinals game where she made him snag the beer. Snag it.
So weird. I think that's what I mean by, again, not to keep going back to this 1 degree off thing. I mean, I guess that is a way. He's telling the story, right, at that point, Clark?
He is.
Because he also thinks that they have the same drink order at Jamba Juice.
Yes. And yes. And she.
That's how that kicks off. Would he tell the story that way, or did she really do that with the beer, with the light beer? Also, you notice he was getting the light beer. She didn't get the light beer.
Well, you know what? In one of the opening scenes where they flash back to the cornhole tourney, the cornhole day, he is drinking a light beer. She's drinking a Bud Heavy.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
No, but it checks out. I picked up on it in the Cardinals game scene.
Yeah, it happens at the Cardinals. But I noticed it in the first time it showed them there at the cornhole, but in the first 10 minutes or so, and I thought, wow.
If you've got a low-paying job at the Purina corporate offices,
yeah, well, I just
you reach for a Bud Heavy.
Yeah, when do you make the detail that the lady drinks the Bud Heavy, not the Bud Light?
Right. Not the very vain man who's on camera several times a day.
Yeah, exactly. What's he doing in that intro? Karate? What is he doing? In a suit? It cracks me up.
It's a funny show.
It is a funny show. It's going to be with Bateman. Even if Bateman's playing a very serious role, he has moments in anything. Homer has the not solid evidence that Clark made a fake profile. This really happened as far as we know. He made a fake profile on the DTF St. Louis site as Tiger, which is how he drew Floyd Smyrnich to the Kevin Kline pool that early in the morning. It's also funny that they keep repeating Kevin Kline pool, who's a famous actor.
Kevin Kline pool.
I'm guessing that they named the pool after is he from St. Louis? Should we know this?
Well, and the other, how can you hear Tiger and not think of William Blake?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I mean, that just seems so on the nose.
What are they doing with that? Do you have an idea?
My very pedestrian Blake history knowledge there is it's always about innocence and experience, right? And like ecstatic religious experience, all this stuff. But a lot of that we're constantly navigating the waters between spiritual, like childlike innocence and the experience of the world. You know, like what you're aware that evil exists and all these things, and
you're constantly taking in information, kind of thing.
Yeah, and like how do you rectify those two things? Like that's the rub is always. It's like that line about like you have to hold two conflicting ideas,
yes,
without going insane, kind of thing. I'm sure that there's someone who is more up on their Blake right now who's yelling into their speaker. But,
probably Donovan.
Donovan would have been clutch here.
Oh man! By the way, Kevin Kline is from St. Louis.
There you go.
I looked it up.
But in thinking about that Tiger thing, Floyd is a pretty innocent guy. He's kind of, I don't know that he does anything. Obviously, he's lying about certain aspects of his life, and he does use this app. But
yeah,
you know, like when he goes to take a dance class, he has no governor on like how much an adult man should be enjoying this. He's like, this is great. I love it.
I want to talk about that scene. Probably too
There's
much.
a wholesomeness to him.
It is yes. David Harbour's wearing a sort of a fat suit or a belly type thing, isn't he?
I would think at this point.
He is. Yeah, I think he is.
He's never been quite that big.
I don't think so. No. But you could really tell it in the dance scene, which is okay. It's fine. But I want to talk about the dance scene because the storyline there is that his stepson doesn't like sports. So they thought, hey, why not go the complete opposite and do dance or, get you out of the house. And
which that idea seems about, once you establish that he bought that game last week, it's about on par with that.
It is so on par.
What teenage boy wouldn't want to go to dance class?
Yeah, it's rare.
Tough.
It's rare. Also, when you see his teenage boy, you can understand the tone in our voices. It's like, no, that's not going to be for him either.
Right. This is a guy who's throwing dirt clods at the house. Dance is probably not for him.
I don't know what that kid's into. Video games, maybe. I don't know. They're kind of a down and out couple. And when it comes to economy, and
because he's drinking the freaking Jamba Juice all the time. Do you see those prices?
You can't be doing that.
Over $6 for a small. She goes every day. No wonder they can't afford a new car.
Floyd can't waste the money on the dance classes, so he takes them himself and incorporates them into his signing jobs that he gets with shows, rap stars and rap shows, and he'll sign off to the side for the people who come who can't hear. And
fantastic scene.
It's such a good scene because you're right. It tells you so much about him right there.
And her. And it's complex, right? Because she knows that it's mildly embarrassing, but it's so lovable. at the same time.
It's
and wholehearted.
Yeah, he's putting his heart into it. He loves it. It's a kind-heartedness. It's an I don't give a shit feel to it. Like you said, he puts way more than a grown man should, because he's in there with mostly teenage kids.
Oh, all the fucks he had to give were buried about 20 years ago. That's what I feel like with this guy.
And then, well, let's go back 20 years, because as it turns out, his secret, it's not necessarily a lie, but he is the guy. He is Indiana Jones with the Playgirl, which is, what is that? How's that?
When she started pulling the copies out, the first one you're like, oh, yeah, there it is. Confirms that was there for the reasons that have been outlined down at the station. But as she kept pulling out more copies, I was like, wait, is the TV glitching? Have we seen the same...
Yeah. Oh, you thought that?
Frame, well, for like half a second, because she pulls out the same copy several times, right?
Yeah. His other secret is that he likes guys.
Yeah.
And he's married to Carol. He must. It's possible. Because that brings in Peter Sarsgaard's character, who apparently did have a mini hookup with him. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I'm laughing because there's more funny, out of touch detective moments there. When he only wrote, he's trying to figure out how to take notes on this meeting, and he just writes A-P
for ass play.
It's pretty funny.
That is a good way to show he's out of touch and be funny. Peter Sarsgaard's character, you don't hire him for one episode.
No.
Got to think he's going to be coming back. So we should probably learn his name. But he, in his profile for the app, he's basically a David Bowie kind of, which is another shame we can't have Donovan here.
Well, we don't know his name. I think we only know his handle.
Profile.
Modern Love.
And he's dressed as David Bowie, very much in 70s Bowie style, the androgynous look.
And Detective Homer said, that is a guy, right?
I'm also intrigued by the set pieces of when he first interviews them on those concrete kind of looking blocks in the lobby of maybe the police station.
Sitting pretty damn far apart, too.
And they're far apart, and it's not the kind of place where you would talk to someone, it doesn't seem. Not about something as serious as this.
Not about, did you meet up with this guy for ass play?
Who ended up dead. Yeah.
Yeah. And funny that when you watch, you're thinking, how are they effectively communicating? And I mean, like on a physical level. How do they hear each other? How do they...
Yeah.
Because you probably don't want to say that much incriminating stuff super loud in a lobby where someone is... every time that they show one of them, there are people walking behind them.
Yeah, it's a lobby. It's got to be something like that.
It's a busy place.
Yeah.
But then you have Linda Cardinelli, her character, using... I'm sorry, you'll have to speak up. Like weaponizing that against...
Very much.
Officer Plum. There's a funny contrast there.
Yeah. Wow. Good catch. Speaking of people in oblivion, we've seen it probably 5 or 6 times at this point, including trailers. But I never get tired of Jason Bateman explaining to Floyd the app. And when Floyd gets to the point where he says, what's DTF? And he says, the way Bateman delivers, down to fuck.
Yeah.
It is good.
He relishes saying it.
Yeah.
I think the other thing we probably have to talk about is the doling out of the timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Last week we got kind of bits and pieces, and you could, when you watch a show like this, you immediately start trying to set up the
mental cork board.
Yeah, the cork board in your head. And a lot of those pieces kind of just got thrown on the board without a strong sense of how they related to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Did you enjoy the way that more was revealed? Because we kind of, you and Donovan tried to piece out last week, had Carol and Clark already known each other. Like at that first, I guess at the cornhole.
Right.
Like where they already...
And I guess not.
Hooking up. They weren't yet. Right. But then there was a longer gap between that and the swanky garden party that Clark throws. Those felt closer together before, but...
Yeah.
According to episode 2, the entirety of the affair happened between those two things, right?
I think that's what we're supposed to understand.
Right.
I'll say this too. I'll jump ahead toward the end. There was something in the delivery of Bateman calling his wife, having to leave a message. She looks at her phone and doesn't answer it, but he leaves the message, and he says, they're talking death penalty. And it's just the way he says it. It's almost felt as if she knows a little. You know, like, hey, you did something, we did something, and now I'm the one in the deepest amount of trouble.
Well, in the way he said, I didn't hurt Floyd.
Yeah.
I thought that was good.
Does make you think that his wife may have had something to do with it. She has only been on screen very little in the first episode, a little bit more in the second, and you're starting to think, is she being withheld from viewers as part of the mystery? So
I think that has to be.
Let me ask you this, Adam. You're smarter than I am. Is there a specific reason why someone like Clark Forrest, weatherman for St. Louis, would be saying so damn much without a lawyer?
I asked the same thing. Aloud.
The answer to
we were
that?
watching it, and I was like, "Where shouldn't he have a lawyer here?"
You know he can afford one since he's the bang master and all.
And man, that was uncomfortable to watch.
The Big Bang.
Him coming up with the story about the Canadian offshore.
It's untrue, isn't it? It's not
Has to be.
Well, yeah, I guess.
I mean, I guess us immediately thinking, nah, he's making that up to sound more interesting. Maybe it's true. I don't know.
Yeah.
But why would he not call the lawyer in? There was, the type of crime show, I'm blanking on the name. It was on HBO years ago.
Okay, it was The Night Of.
The Night Of. Mm-hmm. That
Boy,
sense
I
of
read your
dread.
mind there, didn't
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Probably because that show had that, the dream where you wake up and you are in prison. Or you're, you've done something that you can't get away from, whatever. I feel like everybody has that somewhere in their unconscious, like, oh my
yeah.
God, what if that happened?
And he calls him Bill Clark as the lawyer. Doesn't he? Or Bill Clark gets involved. Remember how much we loved Bill Clark at that time?
That was a good show.
Pretty good show. Yeah.
But that I feel like they slowly cranked up the temperature on that feeling for Clark in this episode. Like you're still not sure if you're sympathetic with him or not, but that ending phone call in that like brutalist architecture room where he, his wife won't even answer him. He is so alone in that moment. And then it makes you think again, why didn't he have a lawyer through this whole thing?
I know.
No one's talking to this guy. He's obviously isolated himself to a large degree. Like we talked about that last week with even his schedule where he's
Right.
like, I got to be up at 4 a.m.
Looked like
He's
he was going to bed at like 5.
Right. So even his family isn't that close to him. And now this guy that he kind of got close to is dead. And who can he trust? Who would have his back? Because even his coworkers are reporting on it.
Yeah. That's a good point. Wow.
Did you think it was weird when the way that he says that he finds out about the app is that he's in like his little makeup room,
Right.
and they're reporting on it? They were very nonchalant about that report. Did it strike you as weird that they were like, for St. Louis citizens who are looking to have a little extra fun?
Yeah, it struck me as funny.
It was very flippant.
It was
for to
flippant.
be-
I was thinking of maybe like a Huntsville news station, which would be the one I would have relied on. It wouldn't happen there, but would it happen in St. Louis or Detroit?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. We've kind of waltzed around this, but the show is doing smaller moments to much better probably than if it aired on a Netflix or something. Like Clark having to jump off Floyd's car at Nance, where he's taken his daughters. Clark has taken his daughters. Floyd having to borrow his wife's car while she takes the bus. Carol's disgust at him, and later endearment that you mentioned at the concert. Those are small things that add up to something, and it's going to be... that's what keeps you coming back, I think. Plus, It's also doing a bigger picture of poking around at suburbia and how humdrum life can build with small headaches like this shit with the car, the weight gain, the crooked penis. I mean, is this what drives people to kill or to get into these kinds of situations? The grass is greener aspect of humdrum suburbia life which is prevalent in these neighborhoods. And I like how it's investigating that a little. Forgive the pun.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. I think the conversation that we just had makes it sound like a better show than it maybe actually.
You think so?
It's this weird thing where it's making me think, but I don't know how much I enjoy watching it, you know?
This episode is the only time there's only two, but this second one was where I was like really happy I watched it by myself.
Why is that?
Because it just felt a little icky, a little creepy, you know?
The long discussion of in the porn positive household wasn't awkward enough in episode 1.
I think I could have giggled through that one, but this one felt like weaponizing sex. And it made me feel a little purposefully uncomfortable,
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah. Again, that your comparison to Netflix, I think Netflix doesn't want you to feel the way that this show is making us feel.
They would lose too many subscribers or audience.
Right. You can feel afraid or scandalized or sad or whatever, but this specific, like, I feel weird. Like, that doesn't get you a lot of subscribers, I don't think.
I don't think so too, but I'm okay with feeling weird sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm okay with my art or show or movie or whatever making me feel a little off kilter. All right, we'll jump to another where probably doesn't make you feel too off kilter at all. The specifics of the new HBO series Rooster. We only have the one episode down since we record before they air. We got Steve Carell, Danielle Deadwyker. She's the poet who brings him in for the reading.
She's great.
Yeah, she was great. Surprisingly, because of course I'd never seen her in anything. Charlie Clive is Steve Carell's daughter. She's a professor, got some hard personal issues going on. And John C. McGinley as the loose president. He doesn't give a shit. I like
He's
that.
not worried about it.
Yeah, I mean, if I was president of a university, I suppose I might be a little worried about my contract not being renewed. But yeah, I wouldn't give a shit.
He seems to be coasting. He's pretty good.
Yeah. Lots of shout outs to you in this episode. Number 1, the love of August, the beautiful setting of, I said August. I meant autumn.
Yeah, I hate August.
Yeah, August. Well, yeah, August in New England may not be that bad, assuming that's where this takes place. But, you know, it's got the late September feel of New England.
Great soundtrack.
Good soundtrack. But also the sauna and the wetting. Do you do the sauna and then the wet? Or, excuse me, the cold?
The cold plunge.
The cold plunge.
I have before.
Is it painful?
I haven't, so there's not a good setup. Boy, we're diving right in here.
Yeah, we are.
There's not a good setup for like a full ice bath thing, but
yeah,
the lap pool, you know, they usually keep a lap pool a bit cooler than they do just like a leisure
pool. They do?
A little bit, because you're exercising in it.
Okay.
You know?
What we're talking about, if listeners want to know, is that you are a member of a gym.
Yeah,
and you enjoy the sauna.
I love the sauna.
You love the sauna, and so
there's a lot of literature out there. If you're just now getting hip to the sauna,
yeah,
everything he says is
that true?
sourced. Yeah, it radically decreases your chance of dementia. Great for cardiovascular health. All these things.
But is brown fat a real thing?
I have no idea.
That was the one I was going to ask you about.
I don't know. I've been using the sauna to get ready for summer, actually, so I don't jump in the pool right now. I'll like exercise and then get in the sauna to try to get some heat adaptation before it gets too blazing outside.
Probably smart. Don't dehydrate. You got to drink a lot of water, I suppose.
Afterward, yeah.
Yeah. So the president, John C. McGinley, he's got his home sauna. He does not go to the gym. He has it there at home, and then he makes Steve Carell's character do a cold plunge immediately after. That's what he thinks is the best.
It does feel amazing. The sauna and the plunge, especially the plunge, called back so much to him at the waxing table.
40-year-old virgin?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was like, we're right back there. All these years later.
Yeah, he screams out.
He's just hilarious.
It's a good show. There's not a lot that, honestly, we didn't mention at the top. I will make a recommendation to Rory Scovel's stand-up. His one on Netflix he's got one on HBO and Netflix, but the one on Netflix is pretty funny. Do we want to talk about the poet played by? I'm trying to think of her name, but I know she was played by Danielle Deadwyker. And
Dylan Shepard is the professor's name.
Dylan Shepard, poet. She says she's read his books. He says he's read her poetry. They both admit a little later that that's not happened. I think that happens a lot in academia, doesn't it?
Yeah, in any... Oh, yeah, I've heard your record. Yeah.
In music as well.
Yeah. I think that happens everywhere.
Yeah, their interactions are very good. And then she invites him in for a drink. And this is one of my favorite moments, is where he turns her down and then he has to turn her down again.
It's tough.
It was back to back. And then she has to punch through to get into her house.
She's over it. Yeah.
Pretty good writing there. It's nice. His daughter, she's the professor. Now, she's the one with the big issues. She's got a husband who's separated from her, who has a younger undergrad living with him now. That's their
grad student.
Oh, grad. Oh,
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, a little older than undergrad.
The classic trope.
The classic trope of a professor, grad student. And, we get in the very opening episode, Phil Dunster's character, he is seriously considering taking his wife back, searching for forgiveness, and maybe losing the grad student here. But in the meantime, turns out she's pregnant. Grad student.
Tough.
Grad student's pregnant.
Put her on a bike to go to the doctor.
What now? Well, what now is that it's not his ex-wife, his separated wife tries to burn his copy of War and Peace, first edition. What an amazing relic that would be.
It was so upsetting to see. We don't like seeing books burned, ever, no matter the context. That as it was happening, I was yelling at the TV screen, they can't make more of those.
No.
And the relationship is a blink of an eye in the history of this artifact here. And she lights it on fire, and at first you think, well, maybe she should just burn the top of it. And then she can't figure out how to work a chimney.
Right, the flue isn't open.
Right, and
she burns
as that started progressing, I looked over at Natalie, who's actually was sitting with her jaw dropped at the escalating fire thing. Again, we talked about the dreamlike thing of like, oh my God, I'm in prison, I'm on death row, whatever, how did I get here?
Yeah.
This was I've done something and I can't stop it.
Yeah.
That's how often do you have that feeling of like the flame out of control?
This snowball's rolling.
It was really funny too.
It was kind of funny. That's obviously going to set up the next episode, because the campus cop is going to have questions.
Y'all stay here.
Yeah. He's going to have questions. If you want a good moment for the show, it kind of sums it up, is where Steve Carell he is accidentally caught watching two lesbians kiss, and his reactions to that, like, I wasn't watching because of that.
Right. Now, there's anything wrong with that, but...
Yeah. Again, we got another show with a little bit of a generation gap, this time present in academia, and perhaps that's even better shown when he has to answer for killing off a female character in his book for no reason than to have her as a prop. Young lady who asked him about it after his reading, he sets it up very nicely. She seems like she's going to ask a very sweet, kind question, and then she throws that on him, and he has to answer for it.
It's all fun, right? Like, I think that Steve Carell as Russo is genuinely, like, maybe trying to navigate this world.
Oh, yeah.
Where, as you have his peer, John McGinley, not remotely interested. And, wants the crybabies to grow up, essentially. But even you have Professor Shepard, who, when the young woman raises her hand to ask this question, it's a very pointed question, she's like, here we go again with her shit. You know what I mean? That hand shot up, and it's like, okay.
And dare we say, it's a little bit of fun at the expense of being crazy woke.
Yeah.
Is that okay to say?
I think so. I mean,
you and I probably consider ourselves a bit woke, I suppose. But that term has become so poisoned. We're not like woke like that. Like, we're going to call out every single little thing. And
are we not existing in the time where it's like, that pendulum swings so fast? How do you just exist? And I think Steve Carell's character Russo is just trying to be a good guy.
Yeah.
Is a great representation for 2026.
And he doesn't even really want to write these kinds of books.
No, and I think there are artists who are very self-effacing, like, oh, I really shouldn't be here, but they really think they're the shit. And I don't.
But he's not one of those.
He's not at all.
You encounter this as a musician, don't you? Where you don't. We're not naming names ever when it comes to this kind of thing, our personal lives. But you encounter these people where they made this album probably to make money, and they didn't really want to make that album, right?
I mean, I am around. Nobody that I know personally would like put their name on it, maybe. But yeah, I mean, you see that.
Okay.
The mechanisms of the industry. It's like, did you really love that song, or did you just need to get paid to play? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense. Or did you write that song because you loved it, or you wrote it to make a little money?
Yeah. Maybe the music scene we were in, it's like, it didn't really seem, talking about the two of us, like in West Alabama, you're not going to make money anyway. So like, why not do something you actually love and believe in?
Good point. Russo has the opportunity to write a series of books that maybe he doesn't really believe in, and then he gets questioned about it. He would probably want to say, look, I'm writing these to make a little money.
You buy them at the airport, take them to the beach, whatever.
Don't think too deeply.
Yeah. It was funny when he, defends himself and says, this is what this woman did that was very heroic and blah, blah, blah. And they say, didn't she have to navigate the end scenes topless? And he's like, well, she had to use her bikini as a tourniquet.
I don't know if that's a fun nod to Carl Hyacint's writing or not, but apparently Russo is very loosely based on Carl Hyacin. When Bill Lawrence was making Bad Monkey, he thought it might be funny to have a character like that do what Russo's probably doing in these episodes. I look forward to these 30 minutes. Steve Carell, maybe at the top of his game, a very sexy 60-year-old man.
He looks great.
He's having fun. It's good writing, I think, for him. And it could be good writing overall. We've only seen one episode.
As we talk more about it, it felt a bit like a Bill Lawrence show stripped of some of the cutesy elements, for lack of a better term.
I thought it was a Bill Lawrence show stripped of the too heavy drama. The drama, like with Shrinking, I think it's a really great drama. Just a 30-minute drama. I think it's really good. With this, I think it's going to be a pretty decent comedy if they can avoid the heavy drama.
Which there's already pretty heavy drama inherent.
Well, I was going to say, you'll have to remind me of Jamie Tartt's character's name in here, Archie. Archie as the professor, who's still married, only separated, but now has a pregnant girlfriend. That's heavy, yeah. What's going to come of that? But I still think that can kind of sort of be played for laughs.
Yeah, in the environment that it's in.
That's not like Shrinking where, and we're going to spoil some of Shrinking in case you're listening, so fast forward 30 seconds. That's not where Shrinking where you have Gabby getting the phone call that one of her clients is probably dead.
Yeah, that's true. The approach feels more like it has to do less, I don't know a good word other than cutesy humor. Like it feels a little more, you don't want to say mature or adult or whatever, because the other is fun too. It's like self-consciously, they are just adults talking to each other in a more realistic way, I guess. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. And I think there's funny to be mined there.
1,000%.
Yeah, even though we've seen it. We've seen this, but, Steve Carell doing it with this cast, there's promise and hope and fun, and we may return to it, actually, in our discussions.
I look forward to watching more.
I do, too. And I look forward to seeing where DTF St. Louis goes. We have no clue, really.
No, and no clue what the quality is going to be week to week.
I think it's going to be okay. I love David Harbour's performance, so if he's a staple of every episode, it's probably going to be good enough for me. Jason Bateman's always pretty good. I will say this, if you've stuck with us this long and you've watched these shows, I should have put this at the top. The Pit is just wow this season. Started off a little slow. Wow. These last couple of episodes. Did I cry in this most recent episode? I sat at my television and just cried like a baby. So if you're interested in talking about the pit with me, just message me. Well, I'm not on social media anymore. Email the Alabama Take. We'll talk back and forth in an email. Or leave a comment on the site.
Is now where we close the show by listing what we think is going to win for the Oscars in a few hours.
And then we'll be completely wrong when this comes out Tuesday?
Yeah.
You've done a whole lot of Oscar watching.
I didn't actually want to do that. It just seemed like a very funny time to say we think we're going to be right when we can be proven wrong in 4 hours.
Yeah. I don't mind doing that, but we're rarely a prediction show. But
No.
But this has been the year that you've watched, I think, every nominated Best Picture. Am I right about that?
I have not seen Secret Agent because it was tough to get for a while. The price finally came down on the rental.
That's the Wagner Murrah.
Yeah.
I love
Which
it.
I didn't look into it because it was like, when you look at the rental and it's like, it's $25 to watch this. That's too much. And now it's down to a more reasonable amount. And I didn't even realize he was in it.
Yeah.
And saw that his favorite Brazilian soccer team, they all wore jerseys on the back were characters that he's played.
Really?
This was like for his Oscar weekend. They're hoping that he gets Best Actor.
He seems really dope. He seems cool.
He's fantastic. So I got to see that. Didn't watch F1.
That's odd because it's right there on Apple.
I know, but are we really doing this? Does it need to keep pace with those other films?
Probably not, but I've heard it's good.
And I didn't see Frankenstein either.
Neither did I, and I meant to. Donovan and I debated covering it, and I didn't see it. We both saw Hamnet, and we're in spoilers.
Oh.
Anything special you want to say? Any quick?
I watched it last week.
Yeah, as did I.
That movie crushed me.
Yeah.
I don't know that was the best film that I saw.
Okay.
But I do think...
What about One Day After Another? Is that the best?
Well, let me say about Hamnet, I do think that it had the best scenes of any film that I saw.
Okay.
That end run when they're at the theater.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
There's some particular... If you just grabbed a still from it, that it would make me emotional to look at right now.
Well, putting that old stuff in brand new context is hard to do, and they did it. And
yeah. The shot particularly... I mean, I thought that she deserves every award this award season, where she is... The whole theater's looking one direction, and she's looking another. Mm-hmm. At Hamnet disappearing behind I was just like, oh, man, that is an incredible...
Yeah.
Really a great season for all these weird meditative kind of slow film like that and Train Dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we're going to be homers for Train Dreams.
Yeah. It was funny that after I watched Hamnet, it hit me, oh, yeah, that is a Chloe Zhao movie. Duh.
Very much so.
I was like, yeah, how did I not remember that when I was watching it?
Opening with the wind blowing through the trees.
Yeah.
I'm in. Did you see One Battle After Another?
I didn't. Is it good?
It's pretty good.
Paul Thomas Anderson adapting Thomas Pynchon, or what's his name?
Pynchon. I don't know. I always just say Pynchon. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm from Alabama.
Sure. Is it good, though?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I wouldn't put it in the same tier as like Train Dreams and Hamnet and Sentimental Value, but it was really good. Sentimental Value is real good.
I've heard that. Did you watch If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You?
I didn't. No.
Okay. Interesting. I've just heard about these and have been recommended these. It's tough for me to find a 2-hour chunk to actually sit down and watch a movie on some days. Most days.
I think it's pretty inevitable that it's either One Battle After Another or Sinners.
That's interesting. And you loved Sinners.
I did. I loved a lot of these movies.
Yeah.
I thought they were all real good, but I think those three that I listed are head and shoulders above a very good field. This is great. We can be proven wrong in a matter of hours.
When people listen to this on Tuesday, they'll know how wrong we are. I bet The Alabama Solution wins for Best Documentary, though. I think that would have to be a given.
It's tough for me to gauge because it's been so buzzed about here, obviously.
Mm-hmm. But it's also nationally important.
Yeah, but pretty remarkable to see a film actually being referenced by like bipartisan legislation that's happening now.
Yeah, that's
what you think you want a good documentary to do, is to actually like instigate
Did you watch it?
change. No, I haven't had the guts to watch it yet.
Yeah. It's good, though. It's a bit gut-wrenching, I suppose. I went in to jump around here. I went into Hamnet thinking that it would be more devastating to me than it was. Albeit it still gut punched me. But I suppose knowing that going in is what stripped it of its effect on me a little. Still, yeah. Well, those final scenes were still amazing, like you said.
Yeah.
Well, probably getting a lot of this wrong, but still, we didn't make any real predictions, other than I do think The Alabama Solution will win Best Documentary. I really do think that. Maybe I'm wrong. You'll know. This is Tuesday morning or whenever you're listening. That's it for us, though, for this week. I'm always appreciative of your time and Adam's time and Donovan's time when he's here. I'm Blaine, and for Adam and Donovan, we hope you got your Oscar picks correct this week and won the office pool. Go for it. Talk to y'all later.